So basically, like the short story is like, yeah, we're all from different parts of North America, all around, and we all met in Montreal. Became all brought to Montreal to study music in school, and we were all basically like came together within the first year, and the music program we were in wasn't very big, and we were all studying jazz, and so we were definitely there to like focus on our instrument, but just felt like we had a lot of passion for other types of music than like 50s, 60s jazz, and just wanted to explore that, and wanted to explore music in like a more social environment, a less academic environment, and also just trying to like break the music bubble and not just like play jazz concerts for other jazz students and like show up at parties with a PA system and like just plug in and play unannounced.
Right.
So that was a lot of what the first couple of years were. It's like being like semi-invited and just bringing like an obscene amount of equipment into like someone's apartment or a dorm room and just like pop up.
You're putting every single effort you can into your playing, and you enjoy doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not like I think a conscious thing. I think just the nature of us having been together for so many years. I think everyone's like, just everyone when they're writing a part or when they're writing a song, or when they're like, is this a good song for Busty, or is it like more my own project? It's kind of like in the moment it's like a pretty indescribable thing, but I think that the root of it all is like the fact that to have like such a large group where everyone's like equally invested, and when it is like everyone matters equally, I think it's pretty rare nowadays. I think a lot of bands are like sometimes on the surface like egalitarian, and then it turns out there's like one person bossing people around.
Right.
But we're really like pretty focused on like the power of like creative collaboration and like abandoning the individual answers that you have like going into a situation, and like trusting that the answer you'll come up with as a group is generally usually going to be better and like more fruitful and like a more powerful discovery. It's a part of like just the belief in that, and then I think there's just like a really big power of that I've seen like not just in the music environment but in other groups as well, of just like people committing to each other, and I think that alone like produces like exponentially greater results than like individuals doing things on their own. I think that like energetically, at least, like when we are playing a show, try to like just adopt a similar mentality of commitment to the group and just extend that to the audience and who's ever there, and like be like, hey, we're all equally responsible for making this like an awesome or like a crappy experience, you know, and like not going to say that overtly, but like the energy is like, hey, let's make this hour or hour and a half that we have together super awesome, and like not in a way that's like clap speak so we feel better about coming, but like make noise because we're making noise, you know. It's like it's like a doing it together.
I remember the first song I heard from you guys was Misjudge, and the overall idea of like that last 30-second break where literally everything just gets so chaotic, but at the same time you can understand exactly what's going on. And I've spent a very good amount of time just sitting and trying to microanalyze that section and say, what are they trying to get? What are they trying to portray? What is their message here? And I'm not sure if you would be able to explain that to me, because I know for sure that like most of the people that will be listening to this, they don't really know what I'm talking about. But like on an individual sense, this idea of one fan recognizing one thing from one song from you guys, I find that incredible. So I would love to hear what you guys were thinking when you were writing that.
I mean, it was like basically like, you know, the drum, we realized like, hey, the drum beat's kind of bad on this song. And we're always thinking about like, especially coming from like a jazz and like, you know, other music background, we like a lot of music that's like more abstract than like the pop ear can digest.
Right.
And so we're always searching for like ways to like give people what they want in terms of expectations, and then give them something a little extra to sort of like just expand their ear. And so, and, you know, for example, in the outro, I've never like analyzed it like this, but like I think it works because the ear has heard that drum beat for, I don't know, 3.5 minutes.
Right.
So much that like the beat just gets like a little bit fatter and a little groovier, so that's completely staying the same. And the audience, the audience can still like, feel that beat pulsing, and that's something for them to hold on to, and then you give them like this abstract trumpet noise,
right.
Kind of crazy descending chromatic chords, and it's like, oh, here's this new thing, like that's crazy, but like I'm not completely lost because there's like a drum beat, and yeah, and so it's sort of that thing. If you give them something that they know, something that they're used to. DJs do this all the time. You give people a fat beat and they can listen to any kind of crazy sample over it. You're thinking about like, oh, well, what are they thinking about? Like, how do they view this song? Or like, what are their like calls to action? Or like, how? Yeah, you kind of are thinking about like, oh, what are they thinking? Not just like, ooh, I like that photo, or like, yes, come to Denver, please. It's like you start to think, especially on social media, it's like how people are building a community online, and because that's kind of like where fans live. And you'll see them in shows in different cities. But like it's a really interesting time where you're building connections and relationships on like a mass scale through different social media platforms. And so it's interesting. It's just really interesting to watch different bands, especially as opposed to solo artists, because solo artists, like at least in terms of social media, it's more similar to any other kind of like social media influencer individual. They could just post a bunch of like butt pics like on, Puerto Vallarta or something, except it could be like promoting their new single instead of like an eyeshadow. But it's interesting with a band because you can't post, you'd have to post like 8 butt pics, I guess. That's the answer. But yeah, it's just interesting to like, you listen to an artist, you listen to a band, and you're like, well, how invited do I feel to join their world? And sometimes you can't figure out why. So I think a lot of it's like an energetic, emotional thing that you just like, people are sending out their intention through their music and through their pictures, through their social media, through their statements. And sometimes you can pick up on like what are the specific things, but it's definitely something we're always trying to figure out.